The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from Iowa Speedway, and we see a lot of tire issues, a lot of fantastic great short track racing, and Ryan Blaney picking up his first victory of 2024. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Iowa Speedway, the Iowa Corn 350. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So for the green flag drop in today's race, Christopher Bell and Austin Hendrick would have to go to the rear of the field due to having backup cars with tire issues and having a lot of damaged cars. So at the start of the race, you had Kyle Larson lead the field from the outside with Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Christopher Bell nearly spun out in turn number 2, was able to continue going. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson got a great start and was able to clear for the lead. But down the back straightaway, these two guys are battling side by side for the race lead, and Ryan Blaney is able to eventually clear Kyle Larson for the race lead on lap number 3. The first caution race come out lap number 4 when Corey LaJoie spun from 20 position, basically a spire sandwich. Carson Ospar got loose in turn number 1, got up into Zane Smith, and then Zane Smith unfortunately got into Corey LaJoie, spinning him out, bringing the caution out. Not a great start to the day for the spire group. So during the caution, Eric Jones, Corey LaJoie, Michael McDowell, Kaz Grall came down pit road while the rest leaders stayed out. So then on the restart, Ryan Blaney lead the field from the inside with Kyle Larson on the outside, and Kyle Larson got a fantastic restart and was able to clear Ryan Blaney for the race lead. Kyle Larson continued to dominate early, and Denny Hamlin's also struggling, was not having a fantastic day, and dropped all the way back to 34th position. The second caution race come out lap 52, and AJ Allmendinger lost a tire, hit the outside wall really hard, unfortunately ending his day. That'll be the first of many tire issues throughout the race. So during this caution, we saw a little strategy where Daniel Suarez and Brad Keselowski stayed out while the rest leaders came down pit row. I believe Kyle Larson won the race off pit row, and Justin Haley, who was having a good run at the time, got an equipment interference penalty. So then on the restart, you had Daniel Suarez lead the field from the outside with Brad Keselowski on the inside, and Kyle Larson got a great run and sent it 3 wide and was able to clear for the race lead for a few laps. But then Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson battled really hard, and he was able to get the lead from Kyle Larson, that being Ryan Blaney. Meanwhile, Ty Gibbs got on the outside wall and got some damage that unfortunately affected his car, and he started falling back quite a bit. Kyle Larson tried to keep toe with Ryan Blaney, but he didn't have anything for him at the end, as Ryan Blaney would come off the corner and win stage number 1. During the caution, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Joe Logano, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, and Harrison Burton were the guys that stayed out, while the rest leaders came down pit road with Daniel Hemrick speeding on exit. So on the restart, you had Ryan Blaney leading the field from the outside, Kyle Larson on the inside, and Kyle Larson got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, the next few laps, trouble strike between John Nemechek and Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson put a little bit of bad block on John Hunter going down the back straightaway, which I think is kind of normal. And then John Hunter completely sent it down the back straightaway, bringing the caution out. I feel like they could have kept that green. I get why they threw the caution, but that would not be the worst call the NASCAR make all night. I feel like that could have kept green. I don't know what John Hunter was trying to do there. That was a little over-aggressive. Meanwhile, during the caution, Kyle Larson actually came down pit road, was seen to be a potential flat tire, and would give up the race lead and would be all the way to the back of the field. Meanwhile, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan, Noah Gragson, and Carson Ospar all came down pit road. So then on the restart, Ryan Blaney lead the field from the outside, William Byron on the inside, and Ryan Blaney got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. The big thing to watch was Kyle Larson. He was really good, had the fastest car at this point in the race, and was charging all the way up. And by lap 110, he was already up to 9th position and charging through the field. Meanwhile, we started having some tire issues. On lap 114, Michael McDowell will come down pit road with a flat tire. Then 15, 20 laps later, Zane Smith would come down pit road with the flat tire. Then a few laps later, Kyle Busch came down pit road with a vibration after having a pretty solid run at the time. There's some contact between Corey LaJoie and Austin Dillon, and we thought a caution was going to come out, but it didn't come out. And then eventually, all the main contenders started coming down pit road. First, William Byron came in. Meanwhile, Ross Chastain, he had a flat tire, but he came down pit road. And then Mark Truex Jr., he came down pit road, but got a speeding penalty. And then Josh Berry came in, who's having a really strong run. And then eventually Ryan Blaney and all the main contenders like Chase Elliott also came down pit road, while Eric Jones also had a tire go down. Kyle Larson came down and pitted. And then once the cycle completely went through with Christopher Bell pitting from the race lead. Meanwhile, we saw a couple guys like Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace stay out, and they actually caught a lucky break with a caution coming out for Daniel Hemrick, who got into the outside wall, bringing the caution out. This, in my opinion, should not have been a yellow. Probably the worst call NASCAR made all night. I really don't understand why they threw the caution right there. Daniel Hemrick continued going. I know he had a flat, but you kept the green for Eric Jones and Ross Chastain. I feel like it was an unjustified yellow. That put a bunch of guys a lap down, including Christopher Bell, who were trapped a lap down because of that. But it benefited guys like Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, Carson Osbar, Todd Gilliland, and Chris Buescher. So then during the caution, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. actually decided to stay out, messing up a bunch of guys who were trying to take the waiver round, including, I think, at time, Christopher Bell and Joey Logano. So on the restart, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. lead the field from the outside with William Byron on the inside. And going into turn number 3, Stenhouse and Byron had some contact as Byron tried to get the race lead. And this would hand the lead to Kyle Larson, who pulled out a pretty big lead over Josh Berry as Kyle Larson would come up the final corner and win stage number 2. Then during his caution, Chris Buescher and Todd Gilliland decided to stay out under caution with some guys coming down the road, including Brad Keselowski, who took 2 tires. Daniel Suarez also took 2 tires as well, while the rest leaders took 4. So on the restart, Chris Buescher lead the field from the outside, Brad Keselowski on the inside, and Chris Buescher got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. And then the biggest moment of the race had happened lap 220 when we had a great battle up front for around 5th position where Kyle Larson sent it 3 wide through the middle. But Daniel Suarez got really loose going into turn number 4, drifted up the racetrack and got into Kyle Larson, spinning him hard into the outside wall, collecting Denny Hamlin, bringing the caution out. This would take Kyle Larson out of the race completely and also took Denny Hamlin, who wasn't having a great night to begin with, took him out of contention as well. Completely unnecessary by Daniel Suarez, especially for a guy that's not completely yet signed at this point for 2025. Just a really big kind of rookie mistake for a guy who's been in the Cup Series now for nearly a decade. I get that Larson was aggressive, but that was completely unnecessary, and that completely killed Kyle Larson's night, who had arguably the fastest car all night. Really tough break for Kyle Larson, who got completely screwed. So then we got back racing lap 228 with Chris Buescher leading the field from the outside with Josh Berry on the inside. And Josh Berry got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. But they battled back and forth for the lead. Josh Berry led for a little bit, then Chris Buescher led for a lap, and then a few laps later, Josh Berry was able to clear for the race lead, and he continued dominating. As Josh Berry continued to lead as William Byron was trying to close, with 90 laps to go, the final caution race come out on lap 260 for Chris Buescher, who hit the outside wall really hard with a flat tire, bringing out the final caution, unfortunately costing a shot at a great finish. Tough break for a driver who's on the cutoff line currently at the moment. So then, all lead lap cars then come down pit road, with Ryan Blaney winning the race off pit road with 2 tires, along with Joey Logano and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who also took 2 tires, and Josh Berry was the first driver off pit road, 4 tires in 4th position. So then on the restart, Ryan Blaney lead the field from the outside with Joey Logano on the inside, and Ryan Blaney got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. Meanwhile, William Byron got up to 3rd position because of the choose and was able to continue going. Meanwhile, a few laps later, Kyle Busch started having some problems and thought he had a flat tire, was running 10th at the time, got on the outside wall, and unfortunately would have to go to the garage because he had some sort of differential issue on the car and some major problems. His day would unfortunately come to a close early. And then we started seeing the long run come into play where Chase Elliott passed Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for 3rd and William Byron was up to 2nd position. Meanwhile, Christopher had a fantastic save late. So at this point, it was a cat and mouse game up front. Ryan Blaney was a little quicker at times, but also we saw the speed from William Byron, who had 4 tires, while Ryan Blaney had 2. And they were having a really tough time getting through traffic. William Byron started closing in, and near the end of the race, about 15-20 laps to go, Ryan Blaney got to the back of the traffic and started losing a little bit ground, but eventually the cars near the tail end of the lead lap got out of the way. William Byron then eventually was able to clear the lap traffic as well and was starting to charge after Ryan Blaney. Coming to 2 laps ago, William Byron was about 6 or 7 tenths a second back, and all Ryan Blaney had to do was just cruise. As it came to the white flag, Ryan Blaney had about a 6/10 of a second lead over William Byron. Byron tried everything to close, but it did not happen. As coming off of the final corner, Ryan Blaney gets redemption from Gateway and picks up his first win of the 2024 season, his 11th career NASCAR Cup Series victory, and becomes the 10th driver to lock their way into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Ryan Blaney, despite the fact that a lot of people are going to say kind of back in this one, Ryan Blaney absolutely earned this win. Led 201 laps, which is the most laps I think he's ever led in a NASCAR Cup Series race. Led over half the event. He had one of the fastest cars, put himself in the right position, took the 2 tires, and put himself in the catbird seat to get it done tonight. He absolutely earned this. Is a big confidence booster for a team that's been hit or miss. He becomes the second Team Penske car to lock their way into the playoffs. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney at his home track nonetheless. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney on picking up his first win of 2024. This is a huge confidence booster for a team that's been hit or miss this year. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney on picking up his first win of 2024. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results. I'll give you my score thoughts on today's race. So Ryan Blaney picks up the victory. William Byron finishes second. A huge comeback day for this team after not a great run at Sonoma. They were a top 5, top 10 car all night. They played some strategy as well, and they finished second. Great day for William Byron in second place. Chase Elliott finished the third. I think Chase arguably had the fastest car at the end of this race and was running Ryan Blaney down. Unfortunately, they just didn't get in a position to win, but they continue to be really consistent. Chase Elliott's having like a Matt Kenseth 2003 style season. He finishes third. Fantastic night for Chase Elliott in third place. Christopher Bell finishes fourth. Christopher Bell, had he been able to start where he did, I think he could have had a chance to win. He was really the only Toyota that showed speed, which is kind of surprising considering Toyota's been really good on short tracks. Just an awful night for the Toyotas, but Christopher Bell was able to have a great run, bounces back, and gets a very solid top 5 finish. Great run for Christopher Bell in fourth place. A good day for him. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes fifth. We know Stenhouse has been really good in the Xfinity Series at Iowa, but it translated to tonight. Had played some strategy that definitely helped for sure, but they were in the top 10, top 15 because of some of the strategy calls, and they come home with, I think, their second top 5 of the year and their first on a non-super speedway. Great run for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in fifth place. Joey Logano finishes sixth. Solid day for him. A great bounce-back run. Got some points tonight as well. I think they cut the gap a little bit on the cutoff line. Solid night for Joey Logano in sixth place. Good night for him. Hopefully the turnaround that this team can need. They led a few laps, I think, tonight as well. Good night for Logano in sixth place. Josh Berry finishes seventh. I think Berry at one point had the fastest car on the racetrack, but unfortunately the car faded near the end. Still a very solid night for Berry. This team is continuing to build. Obviously still looking toward where he's going to be going in 2025. A solid night for him finishing seventh. Good night for him. Alex Bowman finishes 8th. Again, he finishes around 8th to 12th most weeks. They need to be a little bit quicker if they're going to be in contention for a championship, but still a solid night for Alex Bowman in 8th place. Good night for him. Daniel Suarez finished 9th despite the mistake he made. He generally had a pretty good night run all night long, ran top 15 and top 10 most of the evening, and gets a very respectful 9th place finish. The driver still not officially signed for 2025 yet. Good night for Daniel Suarez in 9th. And Brad Keselowski finished 10th. Expected a little better from the 6th team. They played some strategy, faded a little bit back. They still get a top 10. Brad has been very consistent the last 10 or 15 weeks, kind of essentially really the last 7, 8 weeks especially. This 6th team has been consistently top 10. Good night for Brad in 10th. Ross Chastain finished 11th. They had some drivers they were pissed off tonight, like Kyle Busch and Josh Berry. I think a couple other guys were not happy with him, so Ross team did not care. He finished 11th. Solid night for Ross in the top 15. Todd Gillen finished 12th. Decent night for him. It continues to have a lot of top 20 finishes. I think that's his 6th or 7th straight top 20 finish in a row. Good night for him. Justin Ely finishes 13th. Faded near the end, but they get another top 15 finish. This 51 team is really building toward next year. A very solid performance for him. We'll see what happens toward the future, but a good night for him in 13th place. Carson Osbar finished 14th. Not a bad night. Struggled early, but they made that car better and gets a very respectful top 15 finish in 14th. And Mark Truex Jr. finishes 15th, one lap down. They struggled all night long, the 19 team did. In fact, JGR, like I mentioned earlier, struggled, but he did salvage a decent day, but they're going to lose some ground on the regular season tonight. Unfortunately, he finishes in 15th. Noah Gragson finished 16th. Tough break for him considering that I think that Gragson could have had a shot at winning with how fast he was in practice. They never showed that race-winning pace. Still a very solid night for him in 16th. Not a great night, but he does get a top 20. Bubba Wallace finished 17th. Expected more from him, to be honest. He did get some stage points, which will help, but unfortunately, they could have had a better night. They struggled at points. They finished 17th. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Toyotas were not that great. He finishes in 17th. Chris Buescher finished 18th after the tire trouble and issues. They still got a top 20. Not a bad night, all things considered. Austin Dillon finished 19th, and Harrison Burton finished 20th. I think only his third top 20 of the year. He actually had some pretty good pace tonight and legit had top 15, top 20 speed. Decent night for Harrison Burton, all things considered, for a driver that's still looking for a job, probably most likely going into 2025. Corey LaJoie finished 21st. Tyler Reddick finished 22nd. Struggling night for him. Michael McDowell had tire issues all night long. He finished 23rd. Denny Hamlin finished 24th. Even before the damage, this 11 team was struggling. No pace or speed. Struggled all night long. He finished 24th. Ty Gibbs, another driver I expected more from, he finished 25th. John Hunter Nemechek finished 26th. Ryan Preece finished 27th. Chase Briscoe finished 28th. I don't know what happened to Briscoe. He was really good early, but it seems like they made some bad adjustments, and I think they got trapped behind in the unfortunate strategy calls. He finished 28th. Dale Hemrick finished 29th. Austin Cindric finishes 30th. Zane Smith finished 31st. Eric Jones finished 32nd. Kaz Grall finished 33rd. Kyle Larson finished 34th. I think Larson was really the only one that could really keep up most of the night with Ryan Blaney. I think he actually had a better car than Ryan Blaney most of the night, but unfortunately got caught up in an incident with Daniel Swartz. Tough break for Larson. He did get a lot of stage points, which really won't hurt him fully, but man, it could have been a better night for Kyle Larson. Kyle Busch finished 35th. Tough night for Kyle Busch, who's had speed the last 2 weeks, but unfortunately the finishes have not been there. He finishes 35th, and finishing last in 36th is AJ Allmendinger. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole. I thought for a repave and for a short track race in the next gen era, I thought it was a very solid and entertaining race. Sure, it got strung out near the end, but really near the end, you didn't really know who was going to win. Sure, Ryan Blaney led a lot at the end of this race and led over 200 laps, but I thought it was very intriguing. You had a lot of comers and goers throughout the field. You had some guys that are really good on the long run and some guys that are really good on the short run. You also had tire strategy. Guys had to conserve their tires, which I think made this race a little more intriguing. You didn't really know how long these tires were going to last, and honestly, we had a lot of tire failures from some guys, but a lot of teams adjusted to that and made it for a very compelling and interesting race. It wasn't a barn burner by any stretch of the imagination, but for short track standards, I thought it was pretty solid, intriguing, entertaining. I'm going to give today's NASCAR Cup Series race overall, I'm going to give this race an 8 out of 10. Very solid in my opinion. Best short track race in my opinion of the next gen era. Very compelling, very interesting. Kind of an interesting end of the race as well. I'm going to give this race an 8 out of 10. Now before I go, let's talk about NASCAR and NBC. Killed it. Absolutely amazing first broadcast for them. They did an amazing job tonight. They did a great job covering the stories. They didn't miss a lot of the moments. They covered the most important stories tonight. They stayed on track. They stayed on focus. Fox, you need to take steps. Because tonight, even with Dale Jr. not being there, they did a really good job. And Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton were not overkill tonight. I think it was amazing. It was a good job to cover all the stories. They had a lot less full-screen commercials, too. I think there were only 2 or 3 full-screen commercials, which is absolutely what they need. It took one broadcast for NBC to already be better. I know it was on USA tonight, but it took one broadcast to be better than what we've seen from Fox. Fox, you need to get it together because your coverage was not that good this year. Good job on NBC. They did a great job, in my opinion, covering all the battles as well. So, that is going to be tonight's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Iowa Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and support on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on tonight's race. Your thoughts on tonight's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Ryan Blaney on picking up the victory. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow morning on the channel of a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We'll be talking about drivers, I think, like Haley Deegan and SVG, and also other drivers could be driving for 23XI as well. Speaking of that, we'll be talking about the 19 car on Tuesday as well, and we'll have race picks for New Hampshire coming out very soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.